Let's work on question 3.3 now. So we have a village where the only source of income is bamboo, which can be sold on the market. Now the utility of the guy who cuts bamboo is 8 times square root of y, where y is his income. Now cutting this bamboo is dangerous, so there is a probability of being bitten by a snake. Now, without precautions, without taking care, so to speak, the probability of being bitten is 1 over 2. Now with precautions, the probability is reduced to 1 over 4. Okay, but taking precautions reduces the utility by 1. Now, if the bamboo cutter does not get bitten, his income is YG, so I guess that's like the income in the good case. And if he gets bitten, his income is YB, so probably the bad income, because he loses some money. What is the expected utility who takes precautions? What is the utility if he does not take precautions? So we have the data over here. Now with this data in mind, we'll have to calculate expected utilities, right? Why do we speak about expected utilities? Well, it's because we deal with uncertainty. We deal with probabilities. There's a probability of being bitten and there's a probability of not being bitten. So in that sense, we must know in expectations how much can we get. So let's solve it over here. Actually, we will need more space, so I'm gonna go a bit lower than that. The expected utility when we take precautions. So we're going to take precautions with precautions over here. Now, what is the probability of being bitten when we take precautions? Well, that's the probability of 1 over 4. So with the probability of 1 over 4, we would be bitten. If we are bitten, what do we have? We have a bad income, right? YB, so to speak. Now, we will have YB, but what is the utility that we expect from that income? Well, that's 8 square root of the income, meaning that we will have 8 times the square root of YB. That is with the probability of being bitten. Now, with the remaining probability, what is the remaining probability? Well, the remaining probability is 3 over 4 because they must add up to 1. With the probability of 3 over 4, we would have a good income because we would not be bitten. So the utility from that would be 8 times square root of YG. Now, if we work out the math over here, what do we get? Let's see. 4 and 8 cancel out, so we would have over here 2, and 4 and 8 cancel out here as well. So 3 times 2 is going to be 6, meaning that as a result, oh, and by the way, one more thing. Besides the expected utility that we have, we must remember that taking precautions reduces the utility by 1. So in expectation, we would have a utility less by 1 unit. So we must subtract 1 as well. Now, what would be the final result over here? Well, let's see. Let me actually zoom out to get some more space, because otherwise we have to move all the time. So like that, yes, put it over here. Now, what would be the final result? Well, the final result would be 2 times the square root of YB plus 3 times 2, which is 6 times the square root of YG minus 1. So minus 1 over there, okay? Now, what would be the expected utility when we do not take precautions? So the expected utility when we have no precautions. Well, in that case, the probabilities change a bit, right? The probability of being bitten when we take no precautions is 1 over 2. So with the probability of 1 over 2, let me just change colors real quick. With the probability of 1 over 2, we would get bitten and we would have the income YB. And the utility from that would be 8 times square root of YB. So we would have 8 times square root of YB over here. Now with the remaining probability, what is the remaining probability? Well, the remaining probability is also 1 over 2 of not being bitten. So we would have the remaining probability of 1 over 2 times the income in that case would be a good income because we're not bitten, we're not losing anything. So the utility from that would be 8 square root of YG. And because we have no precautions, we have no loss in utility. So that would be our result. Now, if we work the math over here, what do we get? 8 times a half, that's just 4, and here would also be 4, meaning that the final answer would be 4 times the square root of YB plus 4 times the square root of YG. And that's it for this video. Next one, we go to part B.